If there is one thing I have learned throughout all my years in crypto, it's that the narrative counts. What everybody is currently focused on, that's what tends to go up. Now, Stellar is riding the current hot narrative, and that is tokenizing assets, moving traditional finance assets to the blockchain. Other platforms like Hyperliquid are already monetizing on that narrative. For example, we can bet with leverage on various technology stocks using perpetual futures. Now, Stellar is tokenizing the assets directly. That's at least the plan, right? The DTC announced this several weeks ago. And why is Stellar going up right now? It's because Citigroup anticipates that the tokenized asset market will reach $8 trillion by 2030. That's why XLM is one of the very few altcoins that are able to outperform, besides all of those very illiquid pump and dumps, of course. Hi, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. I hit my first million 3 years ago, and I did this mainly through active trading of altcoins. And my trading record is 100% public. All of the positions that I have closed are in the link down below. We are now at 47% APY. This is the chart, the currently open positions. That's this blue line. So we are currently at an all-time high, and the individual positions, they can be seen over here. So feel free to check that out. I don't think that many people in crypto are as transparent. Now, the asset manager Templeton is already pushing Stellar. Apparently, a lot of fees can be reduced. And here is one of the heads of the project also pushing tokenized assets. By the way, if you are on X, feel free to also follow this channel's account. I publish data regularly. Make sure you follow at Bitcoin Strat and not a fake imposter or a scammer account. This is the only account that's real. Now, I always like to look at cryptocurrencies relative to the rest of the market because there's a general expansion and contraction, right? When Bitcoin goes up, most altcoins go up. When Bitcoin goes down, most altcoins go down. What we're really interested in is opportunity costs. How much more can we outperform versus the rest of the market buying a particular cryptocurrency? That way, we can also see potential trading ranges. Check this out. This is XLM relative to the rest of the altcoin market. So that's others. Others measures all the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And there is somewhat of an invisible ceiling. As in, if Stellar was to outperform by another 35%, the air might be getting thin. 2 years ago, the all-time low point got hit. Since then, we tend to recover. Now, the chart relative to Bitcoin does not look as pretty. The tops tend to decline over time, so do the bottoms. This seems to be a pretty clear downward trend. From June 2018 to today, so that's 8 years of data, Stellar underperformed by 90%. Now, where does this underperformance come from? Usually it comes from token inflation. More tokens hitting the market and potentially getting sold off. Is that a problem going forward? Now, here are the tokenomics. The real supply expansion comes from a reserve release. 5 years from now, we might have 10 billion more Stellar tokens floating. So that would mean a bit under 6% of inflation 1 year from now, and then that gradually declining over time. Check this out. This is the XLM market cap divided by the XLM price. So the number of circulating XLM. Within the last 12 months, that went up by even 8%. So this is a rather conservative projection. But in the end, it's all about supply versus demand. Can maybe the demand of Stellar outgrow those 6% per annum? The decentralized finance usage of Stellar is growing over time, quite rapidly actually, 250 million right now. But of course, the market cap is close to 8 billion. So there's a lot of hope priced into the asset as well. We can clearly see how there is more attention on Stellar over time. The number of social engagements is going up. And this is not typical. Most cryptocurrencies see less engagement in this bear market. That being said, again, it's all just hope. It's hope that the tokenization of assets will bring engagement, will bring adoption. Right now, the usage numbers of Stellars are not high. They are rather declining. This is the number of processed transactions over time. A lot of what's currently going on is speculation that the adoption will come. In the last 24 hours, we had 76 million worth of trading volume on the spot market, but on the perpetual futures market, so the levered bets on the price, we had 276 million worth of trading volume. And so the traders that trade with leverage short term on the Stellar price, they tend to be rather balanced in their standing. Sometimes there are more longs than shorts, so people bet on rising prices. Sometimes there are more shorts than longs, people betting on falling prices. But in the end, and we are relatively balanced. The trading volume with that recent increase did go up, but it's not yet at historical levels. And we can clearly state that in the last week, that appreciation was not a short squeeze. We did have a lot of liquidations 3 weeks ago, but that was not what was going on in the last week. The main concern is how many bets are currently made on Stellar, because if a lot of leverage, if a lot of bets are currently made, that means that the price is elevated. When that leverage exits and potentially goes to the next asset, then the XLM price can go down. This is the open interest. So how many bets are currently made on the Stellar price? And here is the price for comparison. Again, a very strong correlation. Those two things move in tandem. And that's the potential risk. If open interest comes down, the price will follow. And so believe it or not, I tend to be rather cautious, even with an asset like Stellar, because there's so much anticipation. Most altcoins go down over time. This is the tokens that are listed on Binance with their performance in the last year. Still, in the last 2 years, we have been able to make money, right? Annualized 47%. So we roughly doubled our capital. And I am 100% transparent about what I'm doing. Every single trade is listed in real time. Of course, the open trades are not yet shown here on YouTube. I have to hide that for YouTube. But whenever we open a position and we close it, that's announced live in Telegram. You can also get those exact same trades via email. So this was a short on Pudgy Penguins. Here was the subsequent close of Pudgy Penguins. I tend to rather bet on falling altcoin prices because, again, most altcoins tend to underperform Bitcoin most of the time. That's how we protect ourselves during market phases like this. If you decide to give it a try, then I will also send you my favorite trade 24 hours after you have joined. Now, if that trade, when you hold it for 1 month, does not make any money at all, then I'll refund you premium, no questions asked. You will get premium for free for that entire month. All you have to do is watch 2 tutorial videos. I will tell you which ones after you've joined. Once you've watched those 2 videos, you will get that trade. You will know how to execute that trade and how to manage the risk properly. And then you should see how premium pays for itself if you just deploy a bit of capital. So you need exposure of roughly $2,000. Since you can lever this up, you're probably okay with just betting $600 or $700. And that should already bring you to break even, at least if historical returns will stay the way they have been. And again, if that's not the case, you will just get your money back. So yeah, quick summary. A lot of the rally in Stellar right now is short-term leverage driven. And there are real questions around the long-term viability of this rally, given that we are underperforming Bitcoin long-term. This might be a short opportunity. Building a product does not yet mean that people will actually come. Most altcoins do poorly over time, so it's better to be rather too cautious than too optimistic. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. Helps the channel grow. See you next time on YouTube or see you on Premium. Link to that pops up here on the screen. See you next time. Cheers.